And welcome back to another episode of Minnesports. It is me, Sammy's here today with Nolan O'Hara. No Blaine today. Kind of unexpected, but, the show must go on. Am I right?
Yep, pretty much.
So today we're going to talk a little Twins, a little Vikings, a little Timberwolves drama that happened over the weekend. Also, we got NBA, NHL playoffs, and other little tidbits around the sports world. So first, let's start with the Timberwolves drama over the weekend. You want to give me a rundown on how that all went down?
Yeah, so it's a little interesting. There was a podcast going on, and what is it? Windhorst? Is that the name?
Brian Windhorst and Zach Lowe. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were talking about there's been lots of rumors concerning Anthony Davis with the Pelicans and about him being traded. A lot of, especially with Boston, and then you hear like the San Antonio. There's all kinds of rumors about Kawhi and where that's going on.
Of course.
And Windhorst basically just said Anthony Davis is staying put. There's not going to be a trade for him. But apparently, Karl Anthony Towns could be traded. It sounds like there's some drama with Karl Anthony Towns and the Wolves internally. That maybe it's Thibodeau, maybe it's the owner. Who knows? But there was something not going all the way they wanted it to. And Cat had some disagreement, and that there could be a Karl Anthony Towns trade. And that's kind of shocking, but is it completely out? Is it completely not a possibility? Is there a possibility that Tibbs and Cat kind of feud? Tibbs is the GM too, so
it's true.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Let's see. What are your impressions off of that first?
Well, first off, the story came out, everyone went crazy, but then, all these sources inside the Timberwolves all came out and said, oh, this is nowhere near true, Not true, but I think there could be a chance for almost any Timberwolves player to be traded this season. You can even throw out Jimmy Butler out there, who still has a year in his contract. Karl Anthony's coming up on that extension. Even Andrew Wiggins, who hasn't lived up to that money yet, we saw this season. Everyone wants him to get motivation. But I don't think Karl Anthony Towns will be traded. I do see a contract coming ahead. I don't know if this may be a bad rumor, or are they trying to be Wojnarowski, because they'll never be like Wojnarowski, but I just think it's stirring up some drama just to get a few clicks or get talked about. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that could be. I can kind of see what you're saying. Just trying to get more listens and all that. I haven't heard any of the Timberwolves sources saying that, refuting it at all. Krasinski did? He refuted it?
He said none of that is true.
Okay.
That's a couple. There's a couple of people who are saying not true, but that's the one true source who came out and said, no, this is
okay. So I should
near the truth, but who knows?
I'll go scrolling through the Athletic after this, but yeah. So I those trades, you can't trade a player like Karl Anthony Towns. It's just what it comes down to. He's the future of the franchise, and if the Wolves trade Karl Anthony Towns, I'll be so profoundly disappointed with the organization, with whatever they did that made it Karl Anthony Towns want out. That's completely jeopardizing the future if you trade Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh my gosh, that's our centerpiece.
And he is the player of the future.
Despite his playoff struggles, he is still our centerpiece on this team.
And it's his first experience at the playoffs against a team that was much better.
That is true. People are giving him too much hate when they realize, he was up against really hard circumstances. We got in the last game.
Yeah, he's not perfect. I mean, that's the thing. There are things he needs to work on, but to jeopardize the future over some spat with a head coach, I mean, coaches are replaceable, really. When it comes down to, if you're choosing LeBron or any coach, you're gonna take LeBron. You
can't coach LeBron.
You're gonna take. Well, what I'm saying is, if you're taking him or any coach, the coaches in the NBA are not. It's not like the NFL. They're expendable, exactly, and you can't jeopardize the future of your organization by trading away your best young player, and then because the coach and him disagree. If it comes down to it, what do you think? If you're saying this is more of a rumor, but if there is a disagreement, is it time to fire Tibbs?
One more year, and I think if he wants to keep his job, he's got to make the playoffs first of all, which I believe we will next year.
Well, they certainly should.
We said that last year too, but then the Butler injury and the really, really bad loss against just bad teams. We kept losing against bad teams. I'm thinking if he wins a playoff series next year, I think he will keep his job. But that's going out on a stretch because that might not even be enough. It might have to be a Western Conference Finals to save Tom Thibodeau's job, which is because we saw Dwayne Casey get fired for being the best coach.
I was shocked. I was shocked. I don't like that at all either.
No one likes it, but it's the unpopular opinion that it might have just had to happen. Something changed.
Do you think it's really his fault though? I mean, this is
No,
kind of going off topic, but
you got to blame someone, right?
you do. But why not DeRozan and Lowry?
We just gonna trade him away.
Why not? See, I mean,
You can't trade away your centerpiece. Coaches are expendable.
yeah, I know. I guess you got a point there. You got me there. But with DeRozan and Lowry, yeah, I feel like that's kind of a different situation because both of them, DeRozan's in his prime right now. Lowry's a little bit past his prime.
Lowry's going down, yes.
And those two players have been together for years, have been the centerpieces of that organization for years, and they've proven time and time again that they can't get it done. With our situation, it's a little bit different. Karl-Anthony Towns is young. Okay. He hasn't hit his prime yet.
You're right.
And we don't know what his potential is and how far he can take this team.
Yep.
We know how far DeRozan and Lowry can take the Raptors.
A quick little
to lose to LeBron every single year in the playoffs. That's as far as they can take them.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. That's a little bit different of a situation, but
a little bit, yes.
I mean, this is really going on the rumor mill here, but could we see Dwayne Casey in Minnesota?
Where did you
Please.
hear this?
I haven't even heard it. I am gonna say this first, but
you're gonna be the first on the rumor mill.
Please, is there some way we could make that happen? Dwayne Casey in Minnesota? Is there?
Maybe next year, but almost all the coaching spots are filled up already, and Dwayne Casey hasn't even been on. Well, they've been some of the list, but
I'm really surprised.
Bud just got hired by Milwaukee. Good hire, by the way. I like
Milwaukee.
I like.
Yeah,
Bud.
I was surprised. Like, would you not just like stop your coaching? You know, whoever you're talking to at the moment, just stop talking to him and be like, call in Dwayne Casey.
Yeah, but I don't know. You know, I bet he get a job He will get a job next year. I believe that's kind of how Thibodeau got out in Chicago. He had to wait a year, then he came back. That's why I believe it's kind of Dwayne Casey. He might come to Minnesota. You never know, but he's probably gonna have to stick on the rotation and wait. So continuing on this subject of Karl-Anthony Towns, we got off a little bit, but let's just say he is suddenly on the trading block. What would it take for the Timberwolves to pull the trigger on a Karl-Anthony Towns trade?
Kawhi Leonard.
Just Kawhi Leonard up front, or are we expecting something else here?
I think there probably have to be some other pieces thrown here and there.
Can we give him Gorgie Dieng in his contract?
That would be really nice because I do want to move Gorgie Dieng.
$16 million off the bench does not look very good.
He is making too much money, so that might be a hard contract to move. I feel like you could move it, though, because it's not like he's a complete scrub. What's going on? Kevin Love hurt?
We're watching the game in the background. It looks like Kevin Love is down in pain. This is no good for Cleveland. This is Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, by the way. Oh, this is no good. Sorry for the stop in the show, but that kind of just threw me off right there.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated here for a second, but I think, if you could, who knows if Gorgie Dieng's contract you can move anywhere, but when you talk about, I think with the Kawhi Leonard trade, there'd probably have to be a piece here and there. Maybe we could get Danny Green from them, throw in a draft pick.
Sure.
But right now, it sounds like the Spurs are really trying hard to keep him. Did you get the report today?
I did not.
They're offering him a supermax contract of $219 million.
Do you think he's going to take that, though?
That's the question. They obviously want to keep him, but will he take it? It sounds like he's really done with San Antonio from every report out there.
If he's going to chase money, I would automatically take that deal. But let's face it, San Antonio is now on the decline, and I believe in the next 5 years they will be missing the playoffs. I think they will. They don't got enough talent coming up besides a Kawhi Leonard. Aldridge is still there. He's putting up numbers.
Aldridge had a really nice year.
He's not as dominant as he was with Portland, but he's still a good player.
No, he's utilized by Popovich in a better way too.
Yep.
Like he is using him to. He's a much more polished player than he was in Portland.
That's true.
He might have been more aggressive, more dominant, but he's more polished. Right
kind of
now.
like how Kevin Love was in Minnesota, how dominant he was, and he went to Cleveland, where he still progressed.
I wouldn't even say he's more polished now. I think Kevin Love's kind of gone into decline, but
all right.
But anyways, going back at it, I mean, yeah, what do you think? I mean, to move Karl-Anthony Towns, you got to get a whole lot in return because this is a player about to enter his prime who's already an all-star player.
Not number 1 draft pick, Phoenix. Don't even think about it. I've been hearing all these fans going, number 1 pick for Towns, it will work. No, it will not and never work. He's worth more than a first overall pick now.
Especially with this draft, I think, too. Like, it would be a different story if you have a LeBron James coming up.
But we don't.
But
or
there's
even
not.
Ben Simmons, but we don't anymore. Maybe in the next few years, but not right now. No.
And, I mean, DeAndre Ayton, is he really going to be able to replace Karl-Anthony Towns?
Not at all.
Certainly don't think
No.
so. I'm really down on him.
Ayton's potential to the roof, but Karl-Anthony Towns' potential is higher. His ability is so much better than Ayton's right now. It wouldn't even be worth it.
He's so more talented offensively.
Mm-hmm.
He can shoot better. He's got better moves. He's more energetic even. And Towns is not a.
You also weren't burning your brackets.
Yeah, he's not destroying Sam's bracket.
Let's get that clear. That was awful. Okay. Well, we should probably move on anyways. What's our next topic?
You didn't answer though. What do you think? What do you think it would take to move him?
What would it take to move him? Well,
what would the Wolves have to get in return?
A top 15 player and probably a draft pick. So, where do we want to go for this draft? If we're going to San Antonio, it's gonna be Kawhi Leonard and their first round draft pick for Karl-Anthony. I would do that, but then again, Kawhi Leonard is that good of a player where it could almost be just a player swap.
Yeah,
that's how good this. I don't know what other teams are there.
I mean, I was kind of I'm just thinking off the top of my head now with Toronto, if they want to move like draft picks and like a package based around DeRozan.
Oof, no,
I don't like that either.
I don't.
Could that happen?
It could, but I don't like the fact I don't like DeRozan and Butler playing together. They're two dominant players.
They're two shooting guards too.
Exactly. You can't stick two dominant players on a team. I guess we have kind of seen it, but when you stick to two dominant players, it just won't work. My opinion. I don't think it will. All right, so that's
Boston.
My pick. Boston. Well, Boston has been trying to deal with the Kawhi Leonard situation. They've been monitoring that closely. And if we really wanted to move Karl-Anthony Towns there, it could take Irving/Hayward and Brown/Tatum. One of each. I think that could almost get it done.
It was kind of interesting that you say that because they were saying, Kyrie Irving, when he had his list of teams, Minnesota was one of them.
Yep.
And what it sounded like was that we were not ready to pull the trigger on trading Wiggins. Did you hear that report?
I did.
It sounded like there was like a deal ready to be done, but the Wolves were hesitant on trading Wiggins.
Yeah, I was indeed. I was away where I didn't have any communication with any cell phones or any news at the time, and I did hear about this through the grapevine. Yes. We obviously saw a little bit more on Wiggins, but this year was a decline, but I give him another year before I ultimately make my decision. Be like, oh, we should have done that trade, or we should have dealt with Wiggins earlier. But you know what? I give him another year.
I mean, he hasn't even this year will be the first year into his new contract. So
that's true.
That's we gotta all be like, this wasn't the year on his contract, but
let's hope not. Yeah.
Wiggins was the most consistent Wolves player in the playoffs. So I think people are getting a little bit too down on him, and he played really well in the playoffs.
Yes, he just gotta produce that in the regular season, and
he does. I agree with you there, but
sometimes he's just got to carry the load. I think he sometimes settles back, lets other people do it. Sometimes he's got to carry the load. I don't think he realizes that because him and Towns are complaining a little bit about Butler telling him what to do, but come on, work together.
Yeah, I mean,
Jimmy Butler's there for a reason.
He's there to lead these guys because there wasn't a leader on this team, and now they bring in Jimmy Butler, so. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, if there's any truth behind that rumor about Karl-Anthony Towns. Hopefully not. Hopefully he'll sign a 5-year extension. We'll find out next month,
won't we?
We will. I guess we will.
We'll find out draft day. You never know.
We'll find out, but hopefully he signs a 5-year extension, supermax deal, stays with the team.
We need to get all these massive contracts done before.
We need Towns and Butler.
We need to grandfather them in fast.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
We don't need any of this. Is Butler gonna leave? We need to lock him up now. That's where I'm at.
Locking both of them will be a dream.
That would be perfect. But moving on in the NBA here, we got the playoffs going right now, and obviously we got the Cavs game Turned on now. Cavs are up by 10. Have you seen any more about Kevin Love's injury here? I haven't.
He's on the court, so it looks like he's fine.
He's on the court, so that is good news for Cleveland. But last night, the Rockets just got destroyed by Golden State.
I'm not a fan of that 4-day break. I'm saying that right now. That whole 4-day break between playoffs, why? You're basically ruining it for the fans who are trying to watch a game. Can't for 4 whole days. And plus, you're giving these teams with a bunch of good, decent players, a lot of time to rest. So you saw Houston just get manhandled.
But these teams have equal time to rest.
Yeah, but still, you should just be like hockey, 1 day on, 1 day off. Let's just pump these playoffs out. Let's not freaking drag them on for 2 whole months like it's been.
I mean, it's not like they're doing 4 days between games when they're at home. They're just doing it for the travel time, and that gives them some rest. I don't hate it, but
I didn't.
But this is one thing I do want to talk about with the Rockets getting destroyed. Just destroyed. I mean, they got killed. They lost by what, 35? 35? I mean, it's an absolutely terrible game. So that's where I want to go into everybody was overreacting after Houston won game 2. Everybody's like, oh, look at this. Houston, they tied it up in the series. Look at this. They can beat the Warriors. That was one game. They split the series at home.
That's true.
They needed to go up 2-0 to have any chance to beat Golden State. And I think people were extremely overreacting to the newest thing they see. They see what happens. They're like, oh, look at this. Houston can beat them. That's one game. It doesn't matter if it's a blow. It doesn't matter if it's a 1-point game. It's one game.
A full-strength Golden State team is by far the best team in the NBA. We've seen that for the past,
no doubt,
4 years now. 4 years that they've been, even without Kevin Durant, they were still the best. And the thing is, sure, if Houston has a super good shooting night, they're pretty good too. But guess what? Golden State can get that better shooting night more consistently. They can get the better shooting night easier than what Houston can do.
I think the difference with Houston and Golden State is Houston's a really deep team. They got 2 superstars. Then they got a really deep bench. They got a lot of players who can shoot. Yeah. But the difference is Golden State's talent is just so much better.
You can't beat that starting 5.
That starting 5 is the best. You can't beat that
starting 5 anywhere else in the NBA.
Maybe the best starting 5 in the history of basketball.
It's up there. I don't really like comparing the newer age to the older age, but it's crazy how good this starting 5
But that's not even like an insult to the older age.
No, it's not.
It's a team with Kevin Durant, who's the top 5 player in that league right now. Nobody's disputing that.
No, not
Steph
at all.
Curry, who's the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, you can maybe say Ray Allen right now, but by the time Curry's done with his career, there's going to be no dispute.
Klay Thompson as the best shooter of all time.
And Klay Thompson.
And he's on that same team.
They're on the same team. Those are probably the 2 best shooters in the NBA, and they're on the same team. And plus Kevin Durant. I mean, that team is so talented.
You got Draymond Green who gives it every single night.
And he's underrated.
He is not. People don't like him because he does a cheap shot and so on. It doesn't matter. He's the hardest working players on the floor.
He's a great player defensively. Night. He rebounds. He scores. He passes. He does everything for that team. He's like for this era of the NBA, he's exactly what you want from your big man.
Of course.
And he fits right in with that team, and they're super unselfish, and they all get their shots.
And they got all these role players who will have
decent role players.
Decent, they've fallen out. They used to be good.
Swaggy P, Quinn Cook. I mean, those guys can shoot too.
It's true. You got a few. They're just picking up super cheap contracts just to hold their team, but still.
But with that starting 5, I mean,
you can't
only
beat that
need
starting
so
5.
Much. So the Rockets, I think what it comes down to for me, I think the Rockets just aren't talented enough.
No, they're not.
And how are you going to beat that starting 5? And they got destroyed. And I think Houston's going to win. I think Golden State's going to win again at home, go up 3-1, and probably win in 6. I think Houston will be able to win 1 more at home, and I think Golden State will win in 6.
I think 6 is fair. I think almost 6 for both these series now.
6.
Obviously, my hot take last week failed. That's the point of hot takes. You're supposed to say these crazy stuff, and maybe it'll come true.
Yeah, Cleveland is up by 13 right now.
And, yeah.
And if they can hold on and win this game, they'll tie it up 2-2. And let's talk about that a little bit because everybody, again, that's another overreacting. The soonest thing you see, go up 2-0. Oh, LeBron's done. Boston beat him.
Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving are deeply missed right now.
It is.
They weren't. Maybe they weren't those first 2 games, but right now, Celtics are probably like, oh, if we had these 2 players, it'd be such a more even series. That might be true, but I mean, this is LeBron James in the playoffs.
I don't think Gordon Hayward helps all that much, but Kyrie Irving big time.
Yes.
But
Okay.
this is LeBron.
Well, we haven't seen enough of Gordon Hayward to even make a judgment on that.
That's true.
We saw him
That's true.
for 15 minutes and then, gone. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
But yeah, LeBron is, I mean, he's the greatest player in the world. And people, and it's just, this team, he's carrying this team right now. And
Everyone knows it, too. It's the best part. Everyone knows this is his game. This is his team. He's going to do whatever he wants, and you can't stop him.
he's unstoppable. And
Morris
that's
cannot stop him right now anymore. We've seen that.
And I don't want to bring this up quick. I mean, we don't need to take too much time with this,
Go
but
on.
I follow Colin Cowherd on Twitter, and his how he has his show, his
course.
daily show, The Herd.
Yep.
The Herd posts things every day, like vote, what team is LeBron going to next year, blah blah blah,
okay.
and keep going on and off about
Yep.
this. Today, who is the best player in the NBA? And it was LeBron and Durant.
Yep.
That almost made me sick when I saw that this morning. I was so I couldn't stand it. I was like,
How'd the poll go? How'd the poll go? That's
the thing. Well, the thing is, it's not even a poll. They don't know how to use polls apparently at FS1 because they always say vote with hashtag. Like there's polls on Twitter now.
Like there's a little
like
Twitter
move
poll.
into 2018. There are polls on Twitter now and use that. But
Big old fights in the comment section, I bet.
I had to bring this up because who in their right mind thinks Kevin Durant is better than LeBron?
Not right now, no.
Ever. Has he ever been better? No, he's not better than LeBron.
You could say there are a few years you could say when he won the MVP award. Could you not?
Better than LeBron?
Yes.
Are
That
you
year?
kidding me?
The year he won the MVP? Yeah, of course.
No, not
He won
better.
MVP for a reason.
Won MVP because they can't give it to LeBron every year. Who was the best player last year? LeBron. Russell Westbrook won MVP.
Oh, well, because that's where I disagree right there. Because I think LeBron James what does most valuable player mean?
It means most valuable to their team. That's what I think.
I think it just means stats, and we've seen that the past.
That's
few
what
winners.
what does it mean? What does it mean, or what is it? Who gets the award? Because
It's just the people with the most
means
stats who get the
valuable
award.
to their team.
It's just the most people who get the stats who get the award.
and they got to keep it fresh. This year, it's between James Harden and LeBron, right?
It's
for
gonna
the
be James
MVP.
Harden.
It's gonna be James Harden.
Yeah.
LeBron deserves it.
Depending on how this season finishes out, maybe.
I think regardless of how the season finishes out right now, LeBron's on a team with way worse talent, with a worse coach, in a worse city.
Come on,
And
do
he's.
you think Tyronn Lue's a coach?
I think he is. I
No.
think people are overreacting to the whole.
All I
LeBron's
remember
coaching
Tyronn
the
Lue
team.
is the guy who got stepped over by Allen Iverson. That's all I remember. Look it up on YouTube. It's there. That's all I remember Tyronn Lue for. That's all he should be remembered for, too.
But
David Blatt was unfairly fired from Cleveland.
I agree
let's
with
make
that.
that
There's
right
no
now.
reason, there's no reason a coach that takes a team to the finals needs to be fired. And,
No reason he number one in the East.
but again, like you said, coaches are expendable. Of
course,
LeBron is not expendable.
We both said this.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
But getting back to it, when I saw that poll this morning, who is better, Kevin Durant or LeBron? It brings me back to what we were talking about last week too. When I was talking about how LeBron's held to this high standard, he scores 42 points and it's his fault they lose. Durant scores 38 and he's fantastic even though the Warriors lose. Why? So if we're really gonna have this conversation, who's a better player? Kevin Durant or LeBron? When are we gonna start holding Kevin Durant to that standard?
Kevin Durant's surrounded by other talent. LeBron is expected to win every single game. If he loses,
That makes it that even
in
furthers,
the Warriors, you got
that
other
furthers
people.
my argument. Durant has so much talent around him. They shouldn't ever lose a game ever. They should be 82-0, sweeping every series, winning the finals in a sweep.
It's true.
LeBron has way inferior talent compared to what Durant has around him and is going just as far.
Yeah.
And it's LeBron's fault when the Cavs lose a game.
Of course.
Durant celebrated for scoring 38 points in a 25-point loss.
LeBron knows how to make himself a media target. It's easy. You just carry a team. He's supposed to win every single game. Am I not wrong?
You're supposed to win every game, but
LeBron James is expected to win every single game. The media's eyes. Because some people are just, people are LeBron haters out there. There's so many. LeBron James haters.
Is that what it comes down to, though? Is it that all these LeBron haters are driving this narrative that Kevin Durant's a better player, so that it's like...
Or any Golden State bandwagoners? Yes.
I mean, is that what it is? They're just trying to drive this narrative so
Yes.
that Kevin Durant is... Because they're sick of seeing LeBron every year?
Is
that what it is?
Of course. Yeah. Why would there not be? There's a lot of people who don't like LeBron.
I mean, that's got to be the only thing that makes sense. Because
I like LeBron. I don't know.
Objectively...
He's a good player.
LeBron is the best player in the NBA, objectively.
Sure.
And Durant is not even... It's LeBron, and then it's everybody else on a different stratosphere. Okay. Objectively. That's objective. Like, watching the games. Like, watching the finals last year, right?
Yep.
LeBron was the best player on the court, but he was beat by a team that was much better, is what it came down to. That's probably what's going to happen this year, too. But... I think if we're going to start making these comparisons, Durant, LeBron, then we need to start holding Kevin Durant to that standard.
Okay.
Anyways, that's just my spiel on that.
OKC fans will hold him accountable. You got those guys on your side.
There you go. I got the OKC fans.
OKC fans and any really angry Heat fans who were very upset LeBron went back home. All right. Anyways, what's next on the
We're going to move on. The Minnesota Twins.
So Twins.
They got a win last night. You said Odorizzi pitched last night?
Odorizzi, 10 strikeouts.
10 strikeouts.
Oof.
That's a nice game. They're playing right now, too.
Yes, they are playing right now.
Last time I checked, it was tied up, right?
I can get you a very quick score update. But go on about the Twins.
I guess I haven't been following them too much lately. They've been doing better, but nothing spectacular. They lost that series with Milwaukee. They won 1, lost 2.
Yep.
Who are they playing tonight? Kansas City, was it?
We're playing Detroit. Gardenhire's team. Ronnie. Good old Ron Gardenhire. Probably my favorite manager of all time.
What's the score on that one?
2-2, bottom of the 8th. Twins are up. 1 out, 1 on first. That'd be a good win to pull out. But it's just shocking that the Twins can drop all these games in a row early on, and they're still right there. Every year this happens for the Twins. They win a few games, get our hopes up, drop 10 in a row, make us look bad. But all of a sudden, we're 1.5 back of Cleveland.
That just shows you how bad this division is.
This is by far, not even close, the worst division out there right now. Everyone has a losing record in the Central. It's bizarre. And it's crazy that...
I'm surprised Cleveland is doing as poorly as we are right now.
I think that shocks everyone in baseball because they're a top 5 team going into it. You know, they're striving. They're looking for that World Series because now they're the team that's looking for the World Series. They have the longest streak now.
Yeah.
Since the Cubs beat them two years ago. Yep. So, this is the Twins' time. This was supposed to be their year where they could, maybe they can get another wild card spot. That can't happen anymore. Wild card, gone.
Yeah, they need to win the division.
We need to start making some moves. I think we can even get a few trades coming in.
Could we bring in a starting pitcher, please?
That'd be nice, but
please.
Hey, we still got Sticky Fingers Pineda coming out. Don't worry.
And we'll have Santana coming back too eventually.
Santana, yep. Santana's been a little on off, but hopefully when he comes back, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I guess what it comes down to with him is we don't know. We won't know how he's
either
doing.
Pineda. No, Pineda was it was probably a super, super low risk gamble because he was dirt cheap contract, but he's still there. And of course Lance Lynn is disappointed. We didn't even take a big risk on him either, but he still hasn't performed.
That's the thing. Well, the Twins don't take risks. They don't go out there. They don't sign.
The only player they've ever gone out for was Irving Santana.
And they didn't. I mean, how much did they pay him?
They didn't go all out
it's not even like that's a top of the line starter. That's just a solid starter in the MLB, which we should have more of on our team.
Because apparently next winter is supposed to be one of the biggest free agencies of MLB history.
And who's not going to participate in it?
Who?
The Minnesota Twins.
Maybe this whole low risk thing for the FA, because we've never even seen the Twins do that. They're not usually free agent go-getters. They are suddenly go-getters, but not the kind of Yankee or Boston Red Sox go-getters. They were getting players.
Let's go get somebody who's been around, and let's hope he has the best year of his career. That's the Twins.
Are you willing to throw a ton of money? Are we going to make another Mauer mistake?
We can't be so paranoid of a Mauer mistake that we can't go and get anybody.
That's true.
I agree with you. Like, okay, Joe Mauer, he had one good year, and then we paid him way too much
we
for way
overpaid him.
too long.
Oh, this is last year of the contract, by the way.
This is the last
much
year.
more money will be freed up as well.
But first of all, sign Brian Dozier. Can they please?
That needs to happen. Yep.
He has proven he's not a flash in the pan. It's been 3-4 years now that he's been consistently good.
Been on the trade rumor the past 2 years too.
And can we not trade him? Can we not trade away our guys who are actually good?
That happens to the Twins a lot.
I'm sick of it. The Twins irritate me more than any other of the Minnesota sports organizations. They do.
Are you sure?
They do.
Are you sure?
They irritate me.
Even more than the Wild? Oh, that's going. Even
I'm
more
thinking.
even more than the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm thinking, but I'm gonna. Oh, definitely more than the Vikings.
All right.
I'm gonna say probably more than the Wild too, because
Go.
I'm a little more into baseball than I am into hockey.
Sure. No,
So-
sure.
But it's the not paying people too. The Wild are just. I don't know what it is about the Wild. It's irritating that they can't get past the first round.
Wild suddenly splurge on 2 players, and then all of a sudden.
But I don't
They shut down
have
again.
somebody to blame for that. You know what I mean? I feel like I can't blame Chuck Fletcher. I don't think he was the problem. I don't think he went out there and got Parisi and got Suter, and they helped the team. They made him a perennial playoff team.
Sure, but I mean,
I don't have that same thing where with the Twins, I feel like you can blame the management for never wanting to splurge on anybody
Bad Levine,
ever.
that's just how Levine rolls.
But can we do it just once? Couldn't we just once get a big name pitcher or bring in somebody?
I guess time will only tell this summer.
I mean, it's gonna certainly depend on this season, because if this team doesn't make the playoffs, then they're not gonna go and splurge. They won't.
We thought they might have splurged this summer, but I mean, there was only about 2 or 3 splurge-worthy players, and Yu Darvish was one of them. But
he's not even doing that well. So I guess
exactly.
It looks,
your high on Darvish is now coming down. After that World Series, he's been deflated. It's sad.
It's not even that I was like super high on Darvish. It was more
you just want a big name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to see
right.
the Twins, because the Twins, when they make strides like this, they go from losing 100 games to being a playoff team. Something nobody expected at all. I certainly didn't. I thought they were going to lose 100 games again.
That's got to be. I think that there was the most from worst to best of all time.
It was something like that. So I was super impressed with that, and I thought, well, you can go out and you can make some splashes now. And I was hoping Yu Darvish would be one of them. You bring in, somebody who's a big name, well-respected pitcher who can give you good games. I mean, it turns out, I guess I was wrong. I'll say that. I was wrong about him. He's not doing well. That money looks, to the Cubs, it looks like a big mistake.
Well, they don't care. They're one of those just rich baseball teams. They don't care. They have the money to spend. The Twins, I guess they don't have that, crazy money that these other teams have. Every baseball team should, but it's just not true. Some baseball teams have to play almost like Moneyball. They got to make ends meet sometimes. They don't want to overspend like the Yankees. They could care less.
Yeah.
They're the biggest name in baseball. They can do whatever they want.
They have their own television channel, right? The Yankees?
Yeah, and they'll make their money back.
Red Sox don't have to worry about it.
No, because that's just history right there. Even these West Coast teams, like any of the Los Angeles teams or even San Francisco Giants, they don't care. They don't need to either.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the Twins, it's not like they can't make, they can't make any splurges. It's not like
they can.
It's not
We
like
know
that. It's not like you're struggling for money.
No, but it's not. We're not trying to.
I get it. I get it from the owner's perspective. You want to make as much money as possible,
Yep.
but
Without spending them.
could you just, I don't know, make the fans happy, please? Please spend some money.
You know what?
Bring in somebody.
I guess we'll see. But all right, move on to probably one of our last topics here.
We got some football news
Actually,
here.
we do a little football news. Nothing too much about the Vikings.
We do have something about the Vikings though.
Okay. Yes.
Delvin Cook, he's going to be participating in the OTAs, and Zimmer had a press conference today talking about it. He said he's ahead of schedule and will participate in the OTAs. So that's super good news for all of us Vikings fans. Really exciting to hear that.
Very good sign. Yep.
To have him back and ready for the start of the season will be huge. That'll help Kirk Cousins out big time, having a nice run game to.
Oh please.
To
Yes.
to switch it up. So
anymore.
that's really exciting. So we'll keep you updated on that whenever we hear more news. But Sam, you brought up this Corey Robertson, wide receiver from Ole Miss.
Wide receiver from Ole Miss. We gave him the most guaranteed money out of any undrafted free agent, from the Mike Zimmer era. This gets me thinking. This guy is almost like a guaranteed practice squad, possibly moving up. I don't know. I've never seen this kind of money thrown at an undrafted free agent. Usually they're just invited for a little bit of money, then they're just cut, kicked off, practice squad. But this one makes me interested that we spent this much money on this guy who I've never heard of. I did hear of like Rock Thomas we signed from Jacksonville State. I did hear of him.
He was the one we outbid a bunch of teams for, right?
We outbid 16 teams for this guy. It's almost crazy no one took a chance on him in the draft, but the fact that we outbid 16 teams for one guy.
Yeah.
Bizarre. And he's on our team too. He must be making almost as much money as Corey Thomas is, but still, Corey Robertson, excuse me.
Yeah.
But still, you know what? Let's see. Hopefully one of these undrafted free agents can make the team. You know, we can see it. Adam Thielen.
Yeah, you know, it can happen. So that's kind of interesting. So a little more
we got a couple,
NFL news.
Couple headlines. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple headlines here. We got, Richie Incognito, guard from Buffalo. He just got cut, and Sam had some interesting ideas about that.
Well, yes, I did. Of course, everyone's going to be like, oh, remember the Jonathan Martin case where, he bullied Jonathan Martin and did all this stuff? Yes, we all know that. Is he kind of a locker room cancer? Yes. Could this be another Alex Boone? Yes, but he wouldn't be as big of a risk as we took with Alex Boone. We went almost all in with Alex Boone, and the next year, gone. But, he's 34 years old. He's got a few years left. I mean, why not? And I don't think he would act the way he did in Miami.
You're talking about Alex Boone, like, he was not as good as we had hoped.
No, not at all.
Not even close.
And he was a bit of a locker room There were people saying he wasn't very good in the locker room.
I haven't heard any of that. I heard him on PA all the time, and PA loved him.
Of course. He's a big mouth. Everyone knew he
was a big mouth, but that's more of the defensive lines of the other team's problem, not so much like.
Also told the fans to F off at one point, so that he might.
I guess I haven't heard all that, but
he did say that at one point.
But I mean, Richie Incognito, he's just a bad person.
Come on, so how many women did he abuse? 0. This is over. 1 hazing case that, and you know what? Jonathan Martin's he's not stable. We all knew that. And look at him now. He got arrested, last month for threatening to shoot up a place? So this could have been an overreact by Jonathan Martin? It could have been, but of course it blew up because, oh my gosh, bullying, oh man. Wow, you can't do that. Come on. It's the NFL. It happened all the time. It's just this one case where Incognito did get caught up. I don't think he's that bad of a dude. He got cut from Miami and had a decent career in Buffalo. And then he probably got cut, just probably to save some money. But I mean, why not? Why not bring him on for a year? I think he'd be fine.
I think.
But yes.
Why intentionally bring a cancer into your locker room?
You would be getting a very bad rap for doing that. Yes.
And I mean, and if he is a problem in the locker room. One of the things we heard about this Vikings team, this whole year, was how good of a locker room atmosphere they had created with Zimmer, with all the players. They liked each other. It sounded like it was, almost like a kind of family thing.
So why couldn't they bring in Incognito and include him in? Maybe
all it takes is one cancer to spread to the whole body.
Oh, come on.
And it could mess the whole. You don't want to have some kind of cancer.
We still need some offensive line help, though.
We could. I
know that too. He's been proven to do his job. So why not? It's just this one bad story. Of course, you would be like, oh man, the Vikings. Oh my gosh, why don't they just go sign Colin Kaepernick now?
Well, there will be that kind of headline too, like this. This jerk's
Sadly,
getting a job and Colin Kaepernick.
I believe Incognito will get a job though. I believe it will happen.
I wouldn't be shocked. I would really be shocked to see it's here especially because they're trying to get Diggs' contract figured out. They're trying to get Barr's contract figured out. They don't need to add anything to the cap.
They need. Who else do they need? They need Hunter and Waynes as well.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Waynes has got 2 more years because they picked up as a 5th-year option.
That's it. You're right. I totally forgot. You're right. Yep. And we'll see how that works out with even this Mike Hughes coming in. You never know. He can almost take Wayne's spot.
I would be kind of surprised about that. I definitely could see him taking Mackenzie Alexander's spot though.
Yeah,
in the slot. Mackenzie Alexander has not been very good yet.
The second round pick is not looking very good right now, is it?
Well, I still have hope that he can develop, but he got torched. I think talk about the 2 playoff games. Obviously, I'm throwing out the Philly game because Rhodes looked bad, Waynes looked bad, Harrison Smith looked horrible. I mean, Sendejo was terrible. Sendejo even got hurt in that game, didn't he? I mean, that team, it's like the whole secondary looked horrible. So I'm not blaming any of that on Mackenzie Alexander. That was the whole defense just failing to show up. But in the game before against the Saints, Drew Brees intentionally kept throwing right at Mackenzie Alexander in the slot and picked him apart. Because, he wasn't throwing it. He wasn't beating Rhodes and Waynes. He was beating Mackenzie Alexander over and over again. So I can see this Mike Hughes pick. Maybe there's probably a good chance he takes his spot, especially I've heard Hughes was one of the better corners in the draft, but fell because of his off-the-field issues.
Yes, because of that one. Yeah, I think I shared that with you, that one incident he had.
I've heard there's more than one now.
More? Okay, well, that's news to me. But obviously it couldn't have been that major because that's the only one I've heard of.
So I think there's been a couple off-the-field issues, but Zimmer can straighten these people out. He's not going to take any kind of crap like that, so I'm not too upset with this pick. I think it'll be good, and if he can play better than Mackenzie Alexander has the last couple of years, and maybe it'll motivate Mackenzie Alexander, and he'll work harder and get so I don't think it'll hurt at all, and it'll be a
good defense can never have too many corners.
That is very true. I mean, secondary is huge, and the Vikings will have a good secondary. This defense is going to be tough again, but again, going back to the original topic, I don't think we should bring a cancer into the locker room.
That's your opinion.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You can take.
It's your opinion. I don't. It's very controversial nowadays. Do you want a player like that? Obviously, he's not as bad as any of the other players. What they do, with the beating their wives or
He's not Josh Brown.
No, he's not. I think he did make a mistake. He did ask for forgiveness. All that stuff. He apologized, but still, that would be it'd just give you a little bad rap if you did hire. Be like, oh, remember what he did those many years ago? Yeah. But
nobody's forgotten that name around.
No.
You remember, especially.
Because it was such a national story. It was even bigger than football at that point.
It was a big story. And not only that, Incognito is an easy name to remember, too. But last in a little bit more football news here, Johnny Manziel is back, not in the NFL, but in the CFL. He signed a contract with the something Tigers.
Yes. I don't follow. Hamilton Tigers? Hamilton Tigers.
That's what it was.
That is it. This is good for him because they did have his discovery rights, and they were talking to CFL to see if they could approve of this signing. CFL gave them the green light, so you want to go ahead, see if you want to try to bring him in. Looks like no NFL team was really interested in Manziel, but you know what? It's fine, whatever. And so you know what? This is something good for him. This is if he does want to get back on that football career, that football path. He obviously has a lot of things to change. First of all, we know why he got out of Cleveland. He didn't focus. He basically took everything for granted. He coasted too long. Didn't do his job. Plus, it's a Cleveland curse too. It's unfortunate. If you're a decent quarterback with no help around you, you're gonna get slaughtered. You're gonna be out of a job next year. And we look like it's a bad quarterback, even though you're not. I think this is good for him.
I think people are kind of taking it hard on him. They're like, "Oh, this is your backup plan.
Are you kidding?
Make it in
Come
the NFL."
on. Oh my gosh! Of course.
Johnny Manziel, I feel I'm kind of proud of what he's been doing lately. He's turning himself around. He's talking really openly about all the mistakes he's made. It sounds like he's sincere and he's really trying to better his life at this point. And I think this is a good step. Maybe NFL teams weren't ready to take a chance on him yet, but
no, yep.
If he plays 2 years in the CFL and lights it up, you never know. He could find his way back in the NFL someday.
We have seen some people go from the CFL to the NFL. Not very common, but it could happen.
And honestly, this is great for the CFL.
Oh my gosh!
I have never watched a Canadian football game in my life, and I'm thinking, how am I going to be able to watch Johnny Manziel now?
It gets people. There are a lot of people at those games. I've seen some highlights of the Grey Cup. They're essentially championship game. Those stands are full. Like, you're getting 50, 60,000 a game over there. I'm like, whoa. This is more watch than I ever thought.
That's only going to increase viewership because
oh my gosh, yes.
You're going to be getting a bunch of people. I mean, there's so many Johnny Manziel fans.
You're going to get them watching.
You're going to be like, yeah, people are going to want to watch him. I want to watch him, and I wasn't even a big fan of his either. Like, that's gonna be kind of fun to watch. See him in the CFL. Yep. So I like the idea, and I think people need to tone it down on him. Like, people are really trying to rip him to shreds. Like,
that's just anyone who makes the name for themselves. Just like people like Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen. People are already trying to bring them down.
I'm not a fan of Josh Rosen.
Just look at that right there. You're already trying to bring him down.
Hey.
Already trying to bring him down. You didn't like that one little thing he said at the draft.
I don't like. He keeps saying it.
Let him. Who cares? If he doesn't perform, then you can do all this. But what if he does perform?
If he does perform, then you can't say anything anymore.
No, you can't.
You can't say anything anymore. But I don't like it. He's a rookie. He shouldn't be saying stuff like that. I hope people really go at him.
All right.
That's
same go for Baker Mayfield. Then there are a lot of Baker haters out there.
There are a lot of. I love Baker Mayfield. I don't know.
Everyone in almost all of college football, besides Oklahoma, does not like this guy.
I don't understand where all that is. Like, people really don't like Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I kind of like him. I think his personality's kind of funny. Like, I don't know. I like that competitive, like, really
competitive,
going
that's for sure.
And I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I'm really excited to watch him. He's one of those players I'm really excited to watch next year. And you know what?
We'll see him.
I think Cleveland finally made the right decision. I think he was the best quarterback in the draft. I'm gonna keep saying that. And
you keep saying that.
Somebody's gonna have to prove me wrong, but I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
Oh, I'll prove you wrong. All right. Sam Darnold will prove you wrong. That's
okay. All right, fair enough.
Well,
we got one last nugget.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna go talk.
NHL.
We're gonna talk to a salty Wild fan over here about the fact that Las Vegas. So get this. So the start of the season, did anyone even think they were even a playoff? People didn't think they were a 500 team. No one thought this. They were like, Vegas finally gets their sports team. Whoop-de-doo. It's been a long time coming. I think they finally will get their team. They got it. Woohoo! It happened. 500-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup. There are teams who have somehow beaten these odds before to win championships. I've seen it happen. But 500-1 odds, they started making some noise during the regular season. They got the most wins as the most wins out of expansion franchise in their first season ever. I believe they did achieve that. They got a pretty high seed in the playoffs, and everyone in the playoffs just wanted to play Vegas. They wanted to 4-0 sweep them because they're like, oh, it's going to be so easy. And now they've lost 3 games in the playoffs.
And they're 4 wins away from a Stanley Cup.
They are 4 wins away from a Stanley Cup. Now they can just rest and wait for the Eastern Conference, because if Washington does win tonight, they are down 3-2 Tampa Bay. They do play tonight. If somehow Washington wins this and they have to go to Game 7, Vegas is still sitting there waiting. They're waiting to feast on the Eastern Conference Championship. So what's your take on the Vegas? We did go over it last week. We let out a little bit on how the expansion draft is kind of not rigged. It's not rigged. It's just it was a little unfair. You know what? It's there. But what's gonna be your take if Vegas lifts the cup in 2 weeks?
Well, like you said,
parading down the Vegas Strip. Oh, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that?
I'm going to be a salty Wild fan about it.
That's
what I'm going to be.
Go off on it. Let's go.
Well, this expansion draft, we talked about it last week, and we were talking about ways to change it. I'm going to say this right now. It's not going to be the same once the Seattle expansion team comes into play, because the owners are not going to let that happen.
Why wouldn't they keep it the same? Why wouldn't the NHL want that again? They want their expansion teams to get all this coverage, to get attention.
the NHL
Why not?
might want that. The owners will not want that.
Exactly.
And the owners are the ones making the call. And the owners, I really don't think they're going to let it happen again, because they're not going to. I mean, they're not going to want to give up some of their better prospects and have to see an expansion team do much better than them. And here I am. I'm a salty Wild fan again, because where was this? Where was all the players we got to take off a team? I guess I was too young to remember, but did we get to take players off of every team when we expanded?
We must have.
I don't know.
Obviously didn't do a good job.
We obviously didn't, because
by the way, we're gonna get a final score update. Twins 4, Tigers 2. Jose Barrios with the win. All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Please carry on.
Yeah, keep going. The Twins need to keep going with these wins here, but yeah.
That is Rodney's 10th save, by the way. Very impressive.
He's not too bad, actually.
Not at all.
Good signing by the Twins for once.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, I don't know. I am just not happy. I'm a salty Wild fan, because the Wild just keep losing the first round every year. Meanwhile, this first-year Vegas team gets to go all the way to the Stanley Cup, and who knows? I mean, I guess I can't be shocked by anything anymore. But are they really gonna beat Tampa or Ovechkin? I mean, I just don't see it happening. What do you think? Do you think they're gonna win it? Is that your take here?
I don't think they will. It's been leading up to this. They've dominated every single playoff series they played. Dominated, swept the Kings. Who they play next? The Sharks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat them. They beat them pretty good, 4-2. It was a little back and forth series, and the Jets just smashed the Jets after giving it that first game basically a 4-0 sweep with just a little mistake in the first game.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
There you go. Yep. We'll just give them the first game that sweep right through. Now this is gonna generate. Oh my gosh. And everyone's like, oh man, I want Vegas to have a sport. Everyone's been so against Vegas getting sports teams, including you yourself.
Don't get me started about those Raiders either. Don't get me started on that.
They're going there.
I know.
Sorry, they're going there.
Not happy about it.
A lot of people are not happy, but that's just where the money is now. But that's an untapped
I
market.
I don't understand it with Oakland though. Why is Oakland moving? Like, this is way off topic now, but why are the Raiders moving?
It's fine.
They have a great fan base in Oakland.
So you say, yes, they do have probably a top 5 fan base in the NFL. We can agree on this, right? They're diehard football. Raiders. But it's just disagreements with the city and what city is going to pay for a team to be there. Oakland right now, California is not in a good shape. It's not. We've seen it. Their baseball team is struggling now. Athletics are down the toilet. Cheapest team out there now. They're playing Super Moneyball now. Billy Beane was just a start. But anyways, the OCO Coliseum is by far the worst stadium in all of sports anywhere in America. That's not a joke either. Yeah. Worst professional. There's obviously some batters, but this is the worst, top tier professional, worst. It's always getting damaged. More repairs needed. It's just not good for a football or baseball setup. It's bad. Much renovation needed. But the thing is, City of Oakland is basically refusing Mark Davis, the owner, any kind of leeway for them to get a new stadium, get some action back. But so now they basically went to Vegas and how much money can you give us? Mark Davis put down $500 million. Said, if you can cover the rest, we're coming over there. And lo and behold, Las Vegas said, oh, yeah, come on over. You can use our indoor dome for now, and then we'll build you a freaking nice stadium pretty soon. Just the way it works.
Cheap owners.
Yeah, well, you could also say the same about the San Diego fiasco, how they all of a sudden moved to a soccer stadium that they can't even fill. The Chargers cannot fill a soccer stadium of 35,000. They can't.
Well, here's the thing. The Chargers...
That's sad.
I mean, you maybe just eliminate them altogether as a franchise, because they didn't get any attendance in San Diego, and they're not getting any attendance in L.A. at all. They're not getting at all.
No.
They're getting... I mean, even the Rams aren't doing as well as we figured
they will.
Would.
Once they get the Englewood Stadium, they will be getting a lot of fans. I believe that will happen. Yes, the Rose Bowl is a big stadium, though. Don't get me wrong. That's a 90,000 seater. People are confused, but
they're filling like 20,000 seats.
They're getting it. They're not doing so bad, but the Chargers can't even fill out the StubHub Stadium in Carson City, California, which is home of the Los Angeles Galaxy, a soccer team, and they get more fans than the Los Angeles. I mean,
Well, again,
Los Angeles Chargers.
that's another problem I have. Like, why do you have 2 football teams in LA? LA's not even like
They didn't have a football team 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden you got 2.
Why do you have 2? You don't. I just get it. Nobody wants to watch the Chargers. I mean, the Rams. They don't. People barely care about the Rams, and that's the historic franchise.
They much rather watch their USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
So college football's already dominated last
Why
night.
are we moving these teams to cities where they're not even going to get fans watching?
I think it's crazy at this point. Chargers are in a heap. They better hope they get their fans back, or they might
Throw them to London. Give them to London.
That's where Jacksonville's going. Come on. Their owner bought out. They're attempting to buy Wembley Stadium. That's
gonna be a scheduling fiasco. At least we're not in the AFC. We don't have to deal with that.
Thank God. Well, we might have to play them though.
Well, eventually, but
Of course, Jacksonville always does well in London somehow, so maybe it'll work for them.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, I guess that really wraps it up today. Is there any other notes or hot takes would you like to throw out there? Anything at all?
I'm gonna tease this.
Go on.
I have a hot take that I'm not ready to make yet, but I might throw it out there in a couple weeks. So I'm just gonna tease that right now.
Okay. I got a hot take for the horse racing. You know that? Is it Unity? Is that the one that's been winning all these? Like he's won. Horse run 2 in a row.
I don't follow it at all.
I don't follow it either, but I know for a fact that horse is going to win the Triple Crown. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be like the American Pharoah. Everyone knows American Pharoah. That was a dominant horse. I think it's Unity. I believe that's what this horse name is. It's going to win the Triple Crown.
Hot take. So, all right.
It's pretty.
You'll have to keep me posted on that because
I'm gonna have to keep myself posted on that too.
Nobody.
There's not many hot takes I can pull off right now.
I mean, other like, what's the purpose of really watching horse racing other than betting?
Man, it's just
other than betting.
History. It's just history.
Like, yeah.
A lot of people like watching it. It's a quick 2 minutes of your. Well, you sit there for 2 hours and it's a 2-minute race. It's kind of bizarre, but.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, I guess that will wrap it up for today for me and Nolan on the show. Well. Tomorrow, there will be a new show introduced, so please stick around. We're going to introduce someone else new to the Minnesports crew. So if you do enjoy this podcast and hope to listen tomorrow, please follow our YouTube channel on Minnesports with, of course, the Purple Kool-Aid Man, our God and Savior. If you did enjoy this and want to continue our conversations, please go on our Reddit page on r-Minnesports, and also be on the lookout for any tweets on... at Minnesports 5. Thank you for listening.